and then you can hear from our panelists. So to start with, my name is Bhargavi, and I'm the president of the PRAGNYA Club. I'm a junior at Valley this year.
Hi everyone, my name is Lisa Gillmor. I'm the mayor of the city of Santa Clara. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Hi everyone, my name is Lucas and I'm a senior at Valley Christian.
Hi, I'm Samantha and I'm a sophomore here at Valley.
Hey guys, it's Albert and I'm currently a junior at Valley Christian.
Hi, my name is Harrison. I'm also a junior at Valley Christian.
Awesome, so before we start, I just want to give you guys some definitions of a few terms so you're aware of what we're talking about throughout this panel and you can better understand neurodiversity. So the reason we did this week this year is because we wanted to help create a more welcoming and inclusive environment for all our students, including our neurodivergent students. So what exactly is neurodiversity? So as a blanket term, neurodiversity can be described as any difference in the brain that causes a difference in outlook, behavior, or perspective. And it's important to remember that throughout this presentation, neurodiversity is a large spectrum and it's hard to define or marginalize to certain conditions. Most people may think neurodiversity simply equates to autism or ADHD, but in reality, it's a huge spectrum that covers many conditions. And while we're talking about these different conditions, it's important to remember that we're talking about differences in perspectives, but at the end of the day, everyone is still a human and has dignity and deserves to be treated with respect. So I encourage you to start implementing these respectful terms in your life as we begin to describe neurodiversity and create a more welcoming campus for our neurodivergent peers. So to start off with, we're going to ask the mayor a couple of questions about her experiences with learning about neurodiversity and becoming more acculturated with the community itself. So to start off with, could you please just give a little, I know you just introduced yourself, but maybe a few fun facts and then talk about what neurodiversity means to you.
Thank you very much, Bhargavi. Is this on? Yes, okay. I've been mayor of the city of Santa Clara for a little over 8 years and on the city council before that. And so in my role as the mayor of the city, I am involved in many segments of our community. I attend a lot of community events. I meet people from all walks of life, serving as the mayor. And so I had the opportunity, especially recently, to be introduced to the neurodiverse community. And in a couple of events I attended, I have to tell you the very first one I attended was late at night, and it was sponsored by one of our Hindu temples in the city of Santa Clara, and it was a dance event. So the first thing I did was I went and I danced with a lot of people that belong to the community, and I had the most fun I've had in my entire life. And what I came to appreciate was that not everybody looks the same, thinks the same, acts the same, but we all have talents and we have vision, we have all sorts of differences that I have determined that make our community and make us all one. And we're all different in different ways. I had then attended a PRAGNYA event where I met Bhargavi, and I was so interested in her perspective at her age, a junior in high school, promoting this event here, which really grabbed my attention, that there are so many people in our community, by bringing attention to this, will help us with acceptance levels and understanding and education, and I think that's what we all need. So it's really a pleasure to be here today to learn more about it and bring the attention. I'm very impressed with the number of people that you have here that volunteer to come on their lunch hour to listen and to hear from your panelists here. So I believe that it's so important, and that's why I'm here today.
Wonderful, thank you. And yeah, to all of you, this is the first step in learning more about neurodiversity and creating that inclusive community. So congratulations to all of you for taking that step and trying to work towards making our campus and just the world a better place for everyone. And as Mayor Gillmor said, neurodiversity is a difference, and it's important to remember that regardless of whether we are neurodiverse or we fall in the neuromajority or neurominority category, we all have differences in our individual personalities and perspectives, and it's important that we can create a community that can appreciate all of our differences and we can exemplify our differences, because that's what makes us who we are, whether it's being neurodiverse or being a certain skin color or any difference that you have. It's important that we can have a community where you can feel accepted and proud of who you are. So next question for the mayor. May you please provide a call to action for those who are seeking to increase their understanding of neurodiversity to create a more inclusive and accepting world for our neurodiverse peers?
Yes, thank you. So my advice is to be open and to stay curious about people, and just don't judge people on the way they look, or maybe some phrases that they say, or your impression of them. Take the time, be patient, and learn about them. I can tell you the neurodiverse individuals that I have met, I have them in my family, friends of family. And I'll tell you, when you talk to people, the amount of knowledge, the humor, the specialness that makes in individuals, you have to make sure you listen to them, you hear them, and you include them in everything that you do, because your life is going to be much more rich when you do. So, there's the old saying, never judge a book by its cover. This is true here. There's no one size fits all for this category. It's really, we are an eclectic group of people. We're a very accepting community, and I think it's really going to start in your generation as well, to see it, be open about it, and to embrace it as part of the community. So that, I think, is the message I want to leave today.
Definitely. Let's have a round of applause for the mayor, everyone. Awesome. Now we're going to move on to our student panelists. So students, may you please just introduce yourselves again, provide a couple of fun facts about yourselves, and then talk about how you are neurodiverse.
Hi everyone, I'm Lucas. Some fun facts about me. Well, I'm part of the music program at Valley. I enjoy playing French horn. I also am part of marching band where I play mellophone. I enjoy, reflecting and hanging out with friends. How I'm neurodiverse personally, I have autism spectrum disorder and general anxiety disorder. So, but even though I have these, I work to engage with other people, and I keep working to be better.
So my name is Samantha. Here at Valley, I'm involved in the health and wellness program. I do gymnastics, and then the way I'm neurodiverse is I have dyslexia.
Hi, my name is Albert, and I do health and wellness at Valley. I also do a math team, and also I used to swim for freshman and sophomore year. Too busy this year, but anyways, I'm neurodiverse because I have autism spectrum disorder. So yeah.
Hi, my name is Harrison. I'm a junior here at Valley. I am actively engaged in the hockey community. I love playing hockey ever since a young age. I also love entrepreneurship and business, and I'm really involved in the DEI program here. The way I'm in the neurodiversity community is that I have ADHD, more severe variation.
Awesome, thank you. So how has your neurodiversity affected your life, and what does it mean to you?
I think for me, communicating socially has been sometimes a stumbling block, especially sophomore year, because that was the first year I came back on campus. But I really think that for me, even though it's been challenging, it's also helped me to learn to persevere and to also really connect deeply with other people that I can relate with.
I think for me, it was learning how to work with my disability. I found out in 4th grade, and so learning what my accommodations can do for me, and just learning how to not get frustrated and just work through the things. Yeah.
For me, I think it's probably getting used to new environments. For example, freshman year, I didn't really have that much friends here, so there was that issue, because I generally just have a hard time getting into small talk with other people. So yeah, there's that. That's my main issue.
So for me, I was diagnosed with ADHD around 2nd grade, and that really impacted my social life, especially because I was always very open about it, and so that led to a lot of issues with friends and just people around me in general, and then over time just having to learn ways to combat it and try to be able to control it so that way it doesn't take over.
I think you're all so very brave to be here to talk about this. I think they need a round of applause.
Yeah, definitely. It's not easy to share your stories, but thank you guys so much for being here and helping us learn more about neurodiversity. So next question. Why did you choose to participate in this panel, and what steps can we take to make other neurodiverse students feel more comfortable on campus?
I wanted to be part of this panel to, just help people be aware that there are people who are neurodiverse. I'm pretty sure that many of you who might have known me, like, you may not have known that I was neurodiverse, but there's people who are around you, and you don't know everything about people unless you really get to know them. So.
I think kind of the same thing was the reason I joined, was to just help spread awareness and to just kind of not judge people so fast if they're having a hard time in classes, or just out in the quad to just take a second and maybe listen to their story.
Well, I wanted to participate in this panel because I've always been very passionate about neurodiversity and the advocacy movement for this. So back in freshman year, the summer of freshman year, I made a website for neurodiversity advocacy. It's called My Neuro Corner. I believe you can, if you look it up on Google, you should be able to find it. It's a Wix site, so there's that. And anyways, so when I heard about this opportunity, I thought, hey, this is a good idea. Maybe I should continue neurodiversity advocacy for here at Valley Christian. So yeah, this is why I'm excited to be a part of this panel.
I chose to be a part of this panel because ever since a young age, I've been always open about sharing this and wanting to make other people feel comfortable, because I know a lot of friends that are also in this community but are very closed off and don't like talking about it, and so I want to partake in this panel to spread awareness and to let people know that they're not alone, and that they can talk to people around them, and that to create a better community here at Valley so people can get the help that they need.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people are scared or are fearful because of society's perception of neurodiversity, and it's important that we can really emphasize the fact that, once again, it's just a difference. It's not anything less than or worse, because at the end of the day, as I said, we're all just human, and it's important that we can create a community that can respect that.
I just want to say that based on what you're doing now, you're going to reach someone that's going to be in this room today that said, hey, I can relate to you, I can understand. So as brave as you are, being out there and telling your story is really going to help others in so many ways you can't even imagine. I love the idea of the online website. The more people you reach, the better, but especially at this high school age, the stories that you tell are just amazing. They are going to help people, and if you get one person or two people, you've changed people's lives because they can then relate with you. So thank you so much for what you're doing.
Definitely, yes. Okay, next question. Please share your experiences with discrimination or stigmatization, and how has this affected your self-view?
Is anyone?
So for me, since I was diagnosed in elementary school and was very open about it, obviously as a younger kid, they don't make the smartest decisions, and so I was bullied often all the way up through junior high here, and it was just really it was really hard because many of them didn't really understand what I was suffering with. They really didn't understand the severity of it. They didn't really understand the whole backstory. All they knew is that I had ADHD, and they considered that almost like a disease or something that's wrong with me, when I can't control that I have it. All I can do is try to harness it and use it for good and figure out ways to stop it from causing me to be very hyperactive or to lose my attention span. But it just really hurt, especially as a younger age where you're still developing and you're still fitting yourself into society. Hearing other people say that you're weird and that you're messed up can really messes up with you and kind of really just makes you appear differently in society.
Well, I feel like, I can relate to a lot of the bullying and discrimination, mainly because I've been bullied before in elementary school, because because I'd do some weird stuff, and then someone would say, and then everyone would just see me as the weird person, or the weird kid. It's for this reason that I decided to keep quiet, mostly about my diagnosis, until up until now, basically, because I didn't want people to see me as weird. But that's also caused a lot of issues because without sharing my diagnosis, a lot of people just don't understand why I do some of the things I do. So basically, and sometimes I do feel like an imposter. So there's that. But now that I can share my diagnosis, I feel like people, like teachers and other students, have become a lot more accepting of who I am, and they've become a lot more understanding. So there's that.
I was never particularly bullied for what I had. Mine was more the people just saying, oh, just do it, just do this worksheet, do whatever it was. And I was like, well, it's not as simple as that. And when I was younger, I didn't talk about it. I didn't ever say, well, this is why. But as I grew up, I found that explaining to the people around me who were trying to help me that this is why I am the way I am, this is why things take me longer, or it's just because I'm having to work harder. So I was never quite bullied, but it is definitely it's not as simple as, oh, just do it. There's deeper parts to it.
I think for me that sometimes I felt like discrimination, or I think sometimes people, they've caught on like, oh, he's not like as socially competent, so they call me names or sometimes. But I think that's been something I've had to deal with, unfortunately, but I've had to learn to figure it out. So
I think all of them are trailblazers now by coming out and explaining and making themselves vulnerable to the community to explain all the issues that they've had and what they've had to deal with in the past. I know as the mayor of a community, when we have, people that aren't tolerant of other people, what we try to do is to educate the community by shining the light on an issue that needs to be talked about, such as neurodiversity. When you bring attention to a problem in a community, it's amazing how many people out there will then, oh, I didn't know about that. I want to support, I want to help. And all of a sudden the village comes out to embrace you, to help you, and make sure that you are accepted in everything you do for the future. So by talking about it, it really brings it out. It's so, so important. I just can't emphasize how important it is to have a session like this today.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I think something that's really important throughout this whole experience is learning how to be an advocate for others. You guys are all here today and you're hearing all these wonderful panelist stories. So I really encourage you in the future, if you hear people using rude, disrespectful, or insensitive terms such as the R slur or calling people autistic as a joke, I really encourage you to call them out for it, because just because you're here and you're learning about it, but I think the next step is really going out and helping people who are not here today understand that that's not okay, that's insensitive, that's rude, because these are things that people deal with in their daily lives, and it's not okay to minimize their struggles or be so insensitive towards them. So I think that's something that everyone here can do as a call to action in the future to really help make this community a better place for everyone. So let's just have a final round of applause for our panelists. And now we're going to open the time that we have left to Q&A. So please be respectful with your questions, but if you have a question, please raise your hand. Yes?
Do you think that autism or what is it called, the other one was the ADHD was first?
2000.
Personally, I have ADHD. I don't have autism, and it's not a matter of which one is worse, really, because each one has their own individual problems, or not problems, individual things that it affects. For ADHD, that really that affects my. I get very hyper at times. I also cannot stay focused. My attention span is pretty short, and so a combination of those can really lead to a disaster. But for your question, everything is different, and so one is not worse than the other. They're all very different.
How can I, as a mayor, make people aware of the situations in a community? There's a few things that I do. One is I personally attend a lot of events, and that's how I met this amazing young woman at an event, because I actually attended the event because I didn't know a lot about what was happening. And so as much as I try to be accessible and educate others, I have to educate myself constantly. And so by attending these events, I really was, it was heartfelt what I saw. And therefore I said, okay, we need to get you more exposure in our community. So the director of PRAGNYA invited to come to other events in the city, have a booth there, be able to talk to people, and I honor them at council meetings as well. We have different months. This last Tuesday night we had, Red Cross awareness. We had endometriosis awareness for young women. So I will invite neurodiversity. We'll make a month. We'll make a neurodiversity month to just get people's attention, because I'm out in the community often, all the time, and I have a lot of exposure out there, so I can connect people together. And believe me, people want to be connected, and there's groups in the community that want to support and help as well, financially and otherwise as well, to get the education out. So there's just a lot of ways that I can help.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I think that something many people are scared to do is ask questions. But if you have a genuine desire to learn more, then don't be afraid to ask questions, because it's a continuous learning and growing experience for everyone. So I really encourage you to also ask questions and provide yourself a platform to educate yourself more. Yeah?
How do you guys see your neurodiversity affecting transitions maybe past high school? And then in what ways would you, do you maybe wish that the people around you would assist in those transitions?
So as someone with autism spectrum disorder, transitions are pretty chaotic, mainly because there's just so many changing variables and it takes a lot of time to adapt. So involving transitions, I feel like the best way to handle them, as someone who's neurodiverse, would just would just be to like focus on one thing at a time, like not overwhelm yourself. Like, when I first came to Valley in freshman year, I decided to just focus only on, say, like academics, since I'm pretty strong in that field. So that way I didn't have to worry about like social pressures or anything. And that pretty much worked out for freshman year, and then I decided to start doing some other stuff sophomore year and so on. It's kind of the same deal for college, in my opinion, but for college, there's a lot less support since your parents aren't going to be able to help you out as much. And also because a lot of accommodation plans expire when you hit 18 or like when you graduate, so you're basically gonna have completely like by yourself for the most part.
Just really quickly, it's also in terms of like the college aspect, like a lot of students look at, okay, what is the best college for me? A lot of students with the learning differences, they don't only have to look at what can this college offer me, but in terms of my accommodations, how can this college support me and how would I be supported in my college journey with my accommodations? So yeah.
I have a question. I find them in general more patient. Yeah.
So with dyslexia, how would you see yourself having that? Because my brother, I have an older brother who has dyslexia, and he's really good with animals.
Yeah, so with my dyslexia, I've noticed that I see things, because obviously I see the world a little bit differently than people. So obviously I'm thinking very differently than the person sitting next to me in class. So there's like things that I pick up that some people don't, or there's like puzzles and stuff that other people can't figure out, but I've seen it in a different way, so I can figure it out. There's other ways that it's just like the hands-on stuff is very helpful things, but I just see the world differently, so therefore I can see things that some people can't see. So yeah.
I'm sorry, the bell just rang and we do need you to get to class, but we have a form here if you have any questions or comments, and we will get back to you. But I really want to thank all of you for coming out here today and making this effort to learn more. So let's have a round of applause for our panelists.
And before you leave, I have a certificate of special mayoral recognition for Bhargavi for hosting these events.
Yeah, Bhargavi.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, there's ice cream sandwiches over there if you want.